Yeah. The skies are looking pretty clear today. We're gonna be traveling at an altitude of, but it's 11 o'clock, so I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. Our Planning Commission meeting, December 1st, 2020. And I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting order, 11 o'clock, and I'll start with a roll call. And I believe we have a quorum at least, but let me check on our roll, see who's up. Maybe some folks are on the line too. Tom Aiden. Sam Battle. Barry Hubbard.
Here.
Chad Schneider.
Here.
Derek Firestein.
Here.
Mayor Whitfield here, and Derek Tedrow.
Here.
So we do have a quorum, and so we are able to proceed with the meeting. And I'll start with an approval of the minutes from the November 4th meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Derek. Is there a second? Or Derek Tedrow, I'm sorry. Now we got two Dereks.
Seconded by the other Derek.
Second by the other Derek. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Are there any abstentions? All right, motion passes unanimously. Today is a very short meeting. I know some folks thought that there were some other things on the agenda, including things that aren't on the agenda, but we will make sure that we make sure folks know when some of the other topics that people want to discuss is on the agenda. But today's agenda is only consists of, I'm actually going to share my screen so you can see the agenda. Consists of construction project, and this is a follow-up from our last Planning Commission meeting. Also a new project with Neighborhood Alliance is on our agenda, and then there's a request for a waiver from the design review guidelines. So those are the three items on our agenda for today. And again, we know that there's other things that the community is interested in. And when those things come onto the Planning Commission agenda, we will make sure that we publicize that information. So we'll start with the Yoast construction project, and should be a familiar project from our last Planning Commission meeting. This was the next step in their process, was to request for a rezone. So they are requesting a rezoning of the said parcels here from residential low density to residential medium density district. Mr. Yoast, do you want to give some more background?
I think he's muted by mistake.
That wasn't a mistake if I did it, but I'll unmute him.
Am I there now?
Yeah, you're here.
I'm there now?
Yes, you're here. Good to see you.
Yeah, you as well. The concern, well, Daryl and I had a conversation, and Daryl was concerned with the fact that one parcel of the property, actually two, 063 and 106, in the middle of the project weren't consistent with the RMD zoning. Our subdivision that we're proposing, as you guys have seen, is conducive with the RMD zoning classification. So we're requesting that all of the RLD be rezoned to the RMD so that all the property is consistent with the same zoning classification.
Awesome, thank you. And you want to give us a quick overview of what this project is again, just for the sake of the public?
Yeah, so you're going to have 25 single-family clusters. You're going to have 52 combined 4-unit clusters. In other words, 13 buildings of 4 units in a building, and then 130 single-family lots. Lot size, again, conducive to the RMD zoning classification.
And where will this be located?
It's just south of 113, west of West Ridge Road, and it enters in from Fowle Road as well as 113.
Thank you, Mr. Yoast. Staff report. Mr. Farkas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. The request is a rezoning for several parcels associated with the new Ridgewater subdivision, specifically parcel 0624-017-102-006 and -063 are the last digits of the other parcel. Staff findings recap. Phase 1 of the subdivision was granted a conditional use approval via the last Planning Commission meeting held on 11/4/20. The overall site consists of 42.7887 acres and also has two distinct zoning districts. The first is a residential low density district, RLD, and the second is a residential medium density district, RMD, the requirements of which are listed herein. The approval was contingent the parcels listed above be rezoned to a residential medium density district, coinciding with the remaining proposed subdivision that is currently zoned RMD. This rezoning would properly align the intended cluster use in phase one and future phases of the development, as a conditional use is not permitted outright in a residential low density district. I have listed the requirements of each zoning classification for the board's use. I won't recap the zoning as it has not changed. I'll zip down to my staff recommendations. I recommend the petition for the rezoning be approved, as it does flow with the intent of the surrounding area.
That's it, Mr. Farkas? I'm
That
so
is
used to the, okay, I'll take that.
The last one was a 3-pager. I kept it short and sweet.
Okay, all right, all right.
Frank, anymore, I'm just going to concede to Daryl's report because they're so thorough.
Yes, I know it, I know it. All right, any questions from the committee?
I have a couple questions, just to verify. So this is the same development we looked at last time, right?
Yes.
And are we, am I remembering correctly that in essence, the homes that will be built will basically be a mixture of what would qualify for low and medium density, but we're zoning the entire thing for medium density so that it's consistent? Is that about where we're going?
The subdivision as it sits consists of many parcels. 2 of them were low density district. Mr. Yost proposed a cluster development for phase 1, and one of the parcels was incorporated into phase 1 that was not properly zoned. The approval was granted contingent that he come back and rezone it to an MD status, which would permit the conditional use. We're just kind of cleaning up on the back end. So as it stands now, the entire subdivision will be zoned a residential medium density district. If Mr. Yost changes his mind down the road and wants to do the whole subdivision as a cluster, he can.
Okay, thanks. That's what I was looking for.
And I've tried to pull it up on the map just to put context into where we're talking about. So, Mr. Yost, can you pinpoint where we're talking about again
Yeah,
here?
if you go to the Dollar General,
Mm-hmm,
you'll see the field behind the Dollar General
mm-hmm,
and the field north of it. So that's that whole area. And Bethesda is the subdivision that's currently in place that's on the west side.
mm-hmm.
So we will also have an entrance from Bethesda or from Potomac into the subdivision. So
Okay,
it goes from 113 south and from Fowl Road north.
yep, so from here on down, from this.
Yes.
area.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions from the board or the committee? All right, are there any other proponents? Are there any other proponents? Any other proponents? Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Any opponents? Are there any opponents? All right, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the rezone.
Mr. Mayor, the only thing you have to do is have Mr. Yost agree that since we don't have the full board, he's willing to go forward with less than a full board.
Yeah, Mr. Yost, are you comfortable going forward without a full board?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'll look for a motion to approve the request for the rezone of the parcel 0624017102-063 and 0624017102-106 from residential low density to residential medium density district.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Tedrow. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Second by Mr. Firestein. Any further discussion?
I have to abstain my vote due to business and Mr. Yost is a client of mine, so I'm abstaining my vote.
Okay, Mr. Ted, does that affect our quorum and our vote?
No.
Okay. All right, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. And were there any abstentions?
Yes, one.
One abstention. Yep. Thank you, Chad. All right, motion carried, passes. Thank you, Mr. Yost.
Thank you very much. Take care, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have the Neighborhood Alliance. And they have a request to rezone parcel 0625-120-000-001 from residential multi-household high-density district to business neighborhood district. This is the old YMCA building. So Ms. Foss, do you want to give us an overview of the project?
Thank you, I'd be happy to. So Neighborhood Alliance acquired the building in question, the property in question, in April of this year. And we are hoping to be able to move the bulk of our services into this building to be able to better serve the community of Elyria. And so currently the building is set up for fitness center. And we are proposing that we move forward with renovations to make it conducive to our operations, which would include a childcare center, office space, and then also our senior nutrition kitchen, which would then allow us to better serve the residents of Elyria with our home delivered meals program. Elyria is our highest density of participants in the senior home delivered meals program. So we felt that an Elyria location would really give us a better opportunity to serve the community. So that's what we're looking to do with the building at this point. And I think Ron is also on the call and has more information about the details of what the build will look like.
Mr. Coco?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the building as situated on the property 265 Washington adjoins a vacant empty parcel to the south or to the right of the image on the screen, and a apartment complex to the north, you see to the left.
I'm on Zoom.
And am I not? Okay. And currently, as it was mentioned in the application, the property is zoned residential multi household high density. That particular zoning on that parcel fits nicely to the permitted uses under Chapter 1152. It lists as one of those as childcare and as a non-commercial recreation, which the Y would have fallen under. So it's perfectly understandable why that zoning was applied to that parcel at that time. However, because of the proposed operations administrative offices that would be located here by Neighborhood Alliance, it's believed that a more conducive and favorable zoning for this parcel would be BN, business neighborhood, Chapter 1156, which does permit childcare, does permit offices. It even allows for restaurants, although the kitchen that Ms. Foss mentions is strictly going to be a production kitchen. It's not going to be a commercial kitchen where they're going to be providing food at this site, walk-in or otherwise. It's strictly for their distribution for their Meals on Wheels program. So in an effort to make this project work for Neighborhood Alliance, it would best be served if we could obtain the rezoning to business neighborhood, which would allow them to fully utilize the building.
Thank you, Mr. Coco. Staff report, Mr. Farkas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Request. The proponent is requesting to rezone 265 Washington Avenue, Elyria, Ohio, parcel number 06-25-120-000-001 from a residential multi-high Household High Density District, RMHH, to a Business Neighborhood District, BN. Findings. RMHH 265 Washington Avenue is currently zoned this district, the requirements of which can be located in the Elyria Codified Ordinance, Chapter 1152. It is the purpose of a residential multi-household high-density district to establish and maintain high-quality areas within the city for high-density multi-household dwellings, to preserve the existing residential neighborhoods characterized by high-density multi-household units. The principally permitted uses are as follows: boarding or lodging house, childcare facilities, clubs, educational institutions, group homes as regulated in section 1137.10, multi-household dwelling units, non-commercial recreation, religious place of worships, single household dwelling units, and two household dwellings. BN, business neighborhood. The request proposes a rezoning to a business neighborhood district, the requirements of which can be found in the Elyria Codified Ordinance, Chapter 1156. It is the purpose of a business neighborhood district to permit and encourage the establishment of small convenience businesses and personal service businesses to locate in close proximity to residential areas which they are serving. The location of the business neighborhood district and nature of the limited commercial activity should be developed to avoid traffic congestion for the surrounding residential neighborhood areas. Principally permitted uses are childcare facilities, clubs, educational institutions, financial institutions, neighborhood retail businesses, non-commercial recreation, offices, personal services, religious places of worship, restaurants, provided seating capacity is limited to no more than 20 people, and other uses determined by the building inspector to be of the same general character as the permitted uses. Note, the specifics of each permitted use listed are defined in Chapter 1125 definition section of the Elyria Codified Ordinance, can be further explained if needed. Staff recommendations. The above request meets with the spirit of the zoning code and attempts to maintain the integrity of the abutting districts, as it would be a reasonable transition due to the proximity of the downtown area for this proposed zoning classification. I am therefore in favor of the request.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. Questions from the committee? I have a question just in terms of timeline for the project overall. Can you share an update on just the timeline on where things are and when you hope to have things up and running?
Well, currently, we were able to secure a limited temporary occupancy in the building for the administrative staff operations for Neighborhood Alliance, which they're currently in the process of doing that move. The remaining portions of the project in terms of repurposing the building to satisfy the needs for Neighborhood Alliance would be a phased approach based on funding procurement by Neighborhood Alliance. And so, Lisa, you might want to talk a little bit about that.
As Ron mentioned, we're in the process of getting our administrative staff moved in. We will be occupying just the office areas, the second floor, the first floor of the building to start with. Once the rezoning hopefully moves forward, as long as everything gets approved okay, then we would move into the construction piece of the facility. So we would be looking at potentially starting construction in March-ish, depending on funding and on the rezoning. And then we would go from there. Our priority at this point is the senior nutrition kitchen. That's number one, because of the needs that have increased so greatly due to COVID-19. So we'd be looking to put that in as phase one and get those meals going out of that kitchen as quickly as we possibly can. And then moving from there into the other areas of the building.
And it should be noted, and I think most people are familiar with the building, but the former pool space, and I say former is because it's the intent of Neighborhood Alliance to repurpose that space fill in the pole and convert that area into additional administrative office area for the building.
Yeah, we might need to have like a ceremony for that. Many memories the Illyrians have on that pool, so you might have to have a morning ceremony.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad to hear that the building is being utilized, and appreciative of Neighborhood Alliance coming into the core of the city of Elyria and bringing a needed service. So I'm excited about it. Any further questions from the committee? All right, hearing none, I'd like to entertain. Oh, are there any other proponents? 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 Are there any opponents? Any opponents? Any opponents on the line? Any opponents? Any opponents? All right, hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion.
We have the same issue, Frank. They have to
Okay.
waive full committee.
Alicia, are you okay moving forward, though we don't have a full board here? Okay, thank you. All right, hearing that, is there a motion to approve the rezoning of 265 Washington Avenue from a residential multi-household high-density district to a business neighborhood district?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Schneider. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tedrow. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. And were there any abstentions? All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Alicia. Look forward to working together.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor, and we're looking forward to getting this project underway.
Sure.
Thank you.
Bye now.
The last thing we have on the agenda for today is, if you've noticed, Rite Aid is redoing their signs, I think, as a company. So you see this in other communities as well. So they're requesting a waiver of the design review guidelines for the installation of a pylon face replacement sign and the installation of illuminated channel letters / shield signs. So is there anyone from Rite Aid on the line?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Brad Rhodes with Sign Art.
Okay. Brad, do you want to give us an overview of the project?
Well, as you can see that the awning has been removed from the store currently, and the other signs around the store, and we're proposing to put a set of channel letters on both elevations. Both meet the code except for the height of the shield is above 3 feet, which is what code is. And we're asking for that relief to be able to use that. This is the size that fits this channel letter. If we were to go down to a 3 foot, then the channel letter would probably be like 1 foot in height or 1'6" in height, and kind of feel that would get lost on the building. And we're hoping for a little relief in allowing this proposal.
Okay. Thank you. Staff report, Mr. Farkas or Ms. Scott.
Yes. So as previously noted, Rite Aid, they are currently in the process of rebranding. As far as zoning goes, the proposed sign replacements are primarily minor changes to what is existing. It is zoning code compliant. As far as the design review goes, our design review guidelines prohibit the installation of new cabinet signs that exceed 30 inches in any one direction. As previously noted, the shield, the logo, exceeds that 30 inches. So the applicant is requesting a waiver. I recommend approval of that waiver. Furthermore, the pole signage, they're looking to replace the current cabinet with another cabinet that would also have a white background, which with the design review guidelines, white backgrounds of internally illuminated pole signs are prohibited, so a waiver would be required for that as well. I also recommend approval of that waiver.
Okay. I noticed we have these black and white pictures. There's, I missed your name on the gentleman from the sign art. Do you have something you could pull up to show us what this looks like?
Black and white pictures.
I have
Oh,
black and
I
white.
see.
Do you have the actual pictures that you could show us what this is gonna look like?
Yes. Whoops.
Because I can stop my screen share and allow you to share your screen.
Trying to get that.
Okay. While they're pulling that up, any questions from the committee on this?
Am I understanding this correctly that the overall physical dimensions of the signs are going to be in line with what is or was there before the awning was removed?
That's a good question.
Correct. The existing signage, the cabinet currently exceeds that 30 inches, and the pole signage, that cabinet is currently white as well. So the changes are minor to the existing size.
I guess that's my question, is the recognizing that the new cabinet is larger than what's allowed, the new cabinet is the same size as the old one, which was
Gotcha.
also larger than
Yep.
what would be allowed now. Is that,
Gotcha.
am I understanding that right?
That it got somewhere
Yes.
Yep.
Right. So both cabinets are exceeding 30 inches.
Okay. Are you ready to share your screen?
Well, I can show the.
Oh, that's another way to do it.
Yeah.
That works.
I couldn't get it on my phone fast enough, but here's the pylon sign, and we've got. You have one elevation. I don't know if I need to get closer or.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. All right. Any questions from the committee on this? Chad, you're our aesthetic guy, so any questions you got, Chad, on this?
Got nothing. It's pretty standard with what they're doing on all the Rite Aids that I see around the area.
Okay. Cool beans. All right. Are you okay moving forward without a full committee?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other proponents? Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Any opponents? All right, hearing none, I look for a motion to approve the waiver of the design review guidelines for the installation of a pylon face replacement sign and installation of illuminated channel letter signs and letters and shield sign as shown. Is there a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hubbard, second by Mr. Schneider. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. And were there any abstentions? All right, motion passed unanimously. Good luck.
Thank you.
Did we cover that white background the correct way, Ashley?
I would recommend that be voted on as well, just to make sure it's clear that it's
Okay.
approved.
All right, so I'll look for a motion also to approve for the white background. Can I have a motion on that?
Motion to approve the white background.
Second.
You just had to repeat that part.
I did.
Motion by Mr. Parkside, second by Mr. Schneider. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. And are there any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next is just a list of design reviews that have been approved by the staff. Any questions on any of those from any of the committee members? All right, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hubbard. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Snyder. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. All right, motion carries. Thank y'all. Good job. 11:30 on the dot.
Thank you.
Great
Thanks,
job,
everyone.
staff too. Great job, Mr. Parkinson, Miss Scott and Mary. Great job.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
everyone.
Have a good day.
Bye.